You don't need to tell a developer why your product is amazing. You need to tell them what it does and let them decide if it fixes the problem. I think the hardest part about developer marketing is how brilliant your audience is. Developers are amazing, but they can be really hard to keep up with. So if you're a marketer in this space, you're in the rarest of situations that you're trying to market to an audience that probably knows more about your product than you do. It's like you're trying to sell a car to a mechanic. Because of that, trust is so important. It's so important with devs, but it's also really hard to gain. They're going to see through marketing fluff a mile off. All of that gets compounded by the fact that a dev's natural position or natural attitude towards ads and marketing is one of skepticism. This is an audience that have seen every corner of the internet, the good bits, the bad bits, the very bad bits. And as a result, of course they're going to come to every interaction online with their guard up. You can't avoid that. You have to be on board with it. You have to understand, respect your audience and speak directly to them. I think the biggest difference between dev marketing and every other kind of marketing is, that classic marketing 101 phrase of you start with why. You don't start with why with developers. You start with what, and then you respect them enough to let them decide whether the why is interesting. I've been in marketing for a long time. In every other walk of life, in every other area, marketing material is all focused on the benefit and then the feature. In dev marketing, really the best examples, you have feature full stop. You don't need to add anything to it. They will decide themselves. Again, you've got to respect the fact that this is an audience that probably knows what they're talking about even more than you do. So let them make the decisions for themselves. Time to value is also really important here. You need to give the developer as frictionless an experience between seeing your ads, clicking your ads, and ending up with a hello world scenario as you possibly can. You could have Steve Jobs writing your ad copy. If you send them to a landing page that doesn't load for 5 seconds, if it's full of irrelevant information, or you have a lead capture form that asks them their family history and credit card information, you're still not going to get signups. You're still not going to get what you want. I think the most expensive mistake that we see all the time is companies trying to interrupt a developer. If a developer sees a loud, eye-catching advert, or even just an ad in the wrong place, all they're going to see is a distraction. You could be solving the biggest problem that they have in their life. They're still not going to give you attention. So showing up in the right context is as important as saying the right thing. You need to try and find an environment that you can reach a developer when they're ready to receive your message. And that's really hard to do. It's not easy. I think it sort of leads into another expensive mistake, which is spending money everywhere to try and find that moment. So you have a spray and pray approach. I guarantee that if you are on every major ads channel, you probably are going to hit some developers, but you're definitely going to miss a lot of developers, and you're going to spend a lot of money doing it. It's a hill that I'll die on. A smaller budget campaign that is on the right channels and well thought out will outperform a bigger budget campaign that is generic and sloppy. If a developer's online in a professional capacity, 95% of the time they're trying to solve a problem. So they are actively doing something. They don't want to be disturbed. They have time in their day to go and explore, and that's when you've got to try and reach them. It's about being considerate with the channels that you're picking. If you're on a channel like Stack Overflow, you know what you're doing. You are trying to interrupt that developer. If you're on an exploration channel, like maybe a social media platform, maybe daily.dev, then you're giving yourself the best chance of gaining their attention in a meaningful way. Attribution's such a pain because no one taught a developer through a classic B2B or B2C marketing rules. No one told them that when you see a product in an ad that you're interested in, you should click that ad and you should sign up in that spot. They are far more likely, if they see something that they like, to open another tab, explore it there, or sit on it for a week and decide then to convert. And if you combine that with the fact that they're really privacy conscious, they like to be careful with their data, you end up in a difficult situation when it comes to tracking. Tracking and attribution shouldn't be the be-all and end-all. There is a marketing funnel, and if you focus on the sharp end of that funnel exclusively with dev marketing, you're doing yourself a disservice. You focus on the whole thing and you set yourself up for the medium to long term. Dev marketing should always be a marathon and not a sprint. And your end goal really is to make sure that a developer is familiar enough with your brand and trusts your brand enough that they pick your solution before they even have the problem that you fix. You stay honest, you stay respectful of the developer, you speak their language, you don't oversell, really, really important, and you show that you understand them. AI has changed developer marketing by making it much harder. It's so much more difficult to build trust. It's even harder to build when you're working against AI eroding that trust. Almost everyone feels like they can spot the difference between like an AI generated image or even AI text. It feels sloppy, it feels insincere. The one group of people that it won't be a maybe, it'll be a definitely, they'll spot that is developers, and it'll turn them off from your brand instantly. We have to live in the real world. Marketers have to use AI the same as everyone else. But in this space in particular, you have to be so careful that it doesn't come at the expense of your authenticity. 5 years ago is actually around about when I started in developer marketing. Back then, companies would spend heavily on every channel. If there was a chance that they hit a developer, it was worth the money, it was worth the risk. Now, these days, every dollar has to be defended. So I think if I was to do it now, as opposed to 5 years ago, I would focus not just on where I can reach a developer, but where I can connect with a developer. So giving myself the best chance of actually earning their attention rather than just being on a screen that they're looking at. I think I'd also try and focus more on the brand than anything else. There's a 1 to 2 year lag between brand building and seeing the results. The quicker you start, the quicker you see the benefit. A positive developer brand is more powerful than any ads channel.